Prabhupada?
Yeah.
Om Jnanatimrandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmalakam Yena Tatsmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born the darkest ignorance. My spiritual master has kindly opened my eyes with a shining torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances under his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we're continuing our reading of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge. Text number 13 today. Text number 13.
So what was in the 12? I missed it last week.
Yeah, so the last two verses, 11 and 12, have been talking about the demons that don't surrender to Krishna, and often their mentality is that Krishna's an ordinary person. They think he's an ordinary person like us, and they think he has a material body like us, and they can't understand that he's completely transcendental, that he's God. So they don't surrender, and because they don't surrender to God, their life is complete failure, as it says in text 12. All their hopes for liberation are defeated. All their hopes for their material activities, they're all defeated.
Well, if that's the case, then what happened? The demons, life after life, they don't surrender, and they go in the birth and death cycle,
Yeah.
and when would they surrender? If they don't surrender in this life, demons, next
Yeah.
life comes to the same, and then same. When would they do it surrender? They never surrender?
The only hope for them, really, because Krishna pretty much condemns them. He doesn't help them. Like we looked at those verses last week in the 16th chapter, which is divine and demoniac nature. So we looked at the verses about the result of being in the demoniac nature, that Krishna puts them in lower and lower species, life after life. So they're pretty much condemned. But so Krishna doesn't help them, but the devotees are said to be more compassionate than the Lord, and they even try to help the demoniac persons. And I mean, most of us were like demoniac, and before we came to Krishna consciousness, but devotees, reached out to us very compassionately and gave us the holy name, gave us prasadam, gave us a book like that, and connected us up. So there is a chance that even the demoniac can come to Krishna consciousness, mainly through the mercy of the devotees, like that. So there is an opportunity for them. So they're not. No one's eternally condemned. This is not like Christian philosophy. There's no eternal damnation. So we're not promoting eternal damnation. But yeah, I mean, the soul is eternal, but our existence in the material world.
Will it be possible that if demoniac people, they do maybe one good act, and then a mercy of Krishna, they might be turned into that way? Like, if the demoniac, and then he just feel like, what, this guy always need to be survived, and he stopped that to kill him. One good act a day, even one act in whole life, and that little act and the mercy of Krishna, he might turn into that.
Yeah, I mean, you get your just desserts for everything you do. So if you do bad things, you'll get a bad result, and if you do good things, you'll get good results. So it's a very fair system, karma. So for every good deed you do, you'll get a good result, and which is happiness. And for every bad deed you do, you'll get a bad result, which is suffering.
Is it atheist and demonic is the same?
What's that?
Atheist and demonic is the same? Demonic people?
Yeah. Yeah, same. Okay. So demoniac means someone that thinks there is no God, or that they're envious of Krishna. That's a real demon if they're envious of Krishna, like if they criticize that Krishna's an ordinary person, he has a material body, like that. So that's definitely a real demon. And they might promote other people as God, but they won't never promote Krishna as God. So that's a demoniac mentality. most people are not necessarily in that category. They're more like what we call agnostic, means they're like in the middle. They don't know that there is God and they don't know that there's no God. So they're just not sure. So they're in ignorance, they're confused. They don't have enough knowledge to say that there is no God, and they don't have enough knowledge to say there is God. So they just say, I don't know. I don't know.
So they are on the borderline and they need a little push. Sometimes any devotee can push and they can get in.
Yeah, so that category, very, very easily they can become Krishna conscious if they get the right association and given the proper knowledge. They can easily go to the divine side to become a devotee like that. But if someone that's full on sure that there's no God or that Krishna is an ordinary person or whatever, the envious of Krishna, that's a very hard person to deal with. And
you can still have demoniac qualities, though, can't you? Even if you're trying to be Krishna conscious, like it doesn't just mean like if you're trying to be Krishna conscious that you've got all the divine qualities. You can still have demoniac qualities, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. Trying to be a devotee is like it's work in progress for most of us. So, like I said, we were demoniac before, many of us, in our habits and everything. So we're still coming out of that. But the good thing is that we've recognized that Krishna is God, and that we are an eternal soul, and we're trying to serve Him. But we're still coming out of that background of lust and greed and anger and envy and pride and so forth. So sometimes these ugly traits from our previous life pop up their ugly heads, and we have to face that. So definitely.
Someone was talking to me about the two, like having the two dogs or the two wolves or something. Was that you, Ampey? Or it might have been Jayashri, and that you feed. It's whichever one that you feed is the one that sort of flowers. So you could have like the bad qualities, the good qualities, but it's whichever ones you focus on and sort of feed those types of thoughts or. That,
it's a good example. I've heard that example before.
Yeah.
So by doing devotional service, we're like feeding that good dog, like feeding the good one. And if we engage in, sinful activities or whatever, then we're feeding the bad dog, like that. So so that's our choice. So we eternally have free choice as a spirit soul. So I could be divine in the divine nature one day and demoniac nature the next day.
And give an example.
Yeah, like if I went to the pub tomorrow, then I'd be in the demoniac.
It can't be like you haven't been to the pub for 28 years. How come all of a sudden you can go to the pub? It can't be unless you're out of your brain or something, different story.
But there have been many cases where devotees do fall down from Krishna consciousness, and not necessarily it's premeditated, but sometimes it can just be you get some bad association and you get influenced like that. Maybe say the devotee before he joined he used to take marijuana or something, and then he's away from that habit. And then one day he meets up with one of his old friends that he used to smoke marijuana with. And then he says, "Come on, mate, let's come to my house and we'll just have a little puff," and then he's fallen down like that. So it wasn't premeditated, but just due to some bad association, and he got temporary influence like that. And often it can be when we're not properly engaged, when our idle mind is a devil's workshop. So if you're not fully engaged in Krishna service, what's the only other option? There's Krishna service, and what's the other option if you're not doing Krishna service?
Maya.
You're doing serving yourself or someone else?
Yeah, serving Maya. So if we're not properly engaged, then we might end up you know, serving Maya again, you know, lust or greed or anger or whatever it is, pride, like that. So these tendencies are always there. As long as we have a material body in the material world, then we always have to be careful, because we're in the realm of Maya. So Maya can always strike like that. So we have to be very careful. And the best way to do that is just be very serious and sincere in our devotional service, and always pray to Krishna to protect us. Prabhupada said himself, I'm always praying to Krishna to protect me from falling down, you know, even though he's such an advanced devotee, but he realizes how powerful Maya is, and he's saying he's always praying to Krishna to protect him from falling down, you know. And his one criticism of his Western disciples was that you're not afraid of Maya enough. So that indicates that, you know, Maya is very powerful. And there's only one person more powerful than Maya. Do you know who that
Krishna.
is? Krishna. So
That's
that's
Krishna's energy anyway. Maya is Krishna's energy.
I know. She's more powerful than us.
Yes.
We're also Krishna's energy, but much smaller than Maya. And the only way we can escape Maya's influence is by always surrendering to Krishna. But you know, that's the thing. That's the thing. So, and that free choice can be used in any way.
If I keep attending the class, and doing the 69 and 4 regular principle, do you think Maya could not touch me, or still can touch me?
I mean, you're in a reasonably safe position, definitely. But what about for the rest of the day when you're not chanting 16 rounds and you're not hearing?
I'll keep chanting while I'm driving, while I'm washing clothes, while I'm doing showering. Everything is there. Just till the last, last moment of my dream, like comes that when you go to the sleep, and when you get to sleep, there is a middle age there. When you're like not a conscious, not in the sense, it's like a middle, that one, half conscious, half not. Till that, how we keep chanting. So I think Krishna will protect me.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. We should always pray to Krishna for Krishna's protection.
Like, sometimes I say,
then we should be, you know, sincere in that we always trying to keep busy in Krishna's service. I can't overestimate the importance of trying to keep busy in Krishna's service. We don't want to become lazy and lethargic in our Krishna consciousness, because that's when Maya finds a little gap and finds a way in. Like Prabhupada gave the example of, just like, if you want to keep the thieves out of your house, you have to be careful to lock the doors and the windows. Because even if you leave a window open a little bit or the door unlocked, the thief can come in the night and steal all your possessions or even cut your throat. You know, so Maya is like that thief. She's always looking for a little bit of an opening, a little bit of a weakness. And we all have different weaknesses. Some people's weaknesses is sex desire, you know, attraction to the opposite sex. Some is money. Money is a trap for some people. And some is position, having a position, having power, getting adoration, recognition, being worshipped by others. You know, so there's all different traps, so many different traps of Maya. And for some person, like, you know, lust is not a problem, but then problem. Some people wanting money is a problem, and, you know, like that. Or, I mean, yeah, different issues are there, different weaknesses. So Maya knows what our weaknesses are, and she'll exploit, you know, those particular weaknesses that we have. So, you know, we have to be, you know, very careful to always keep engaged in Krishna's service. And then as long as we're always engaged in Krishna's service, then we'll be protected like that. So
Maya knows my weaknesses too.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, my
course.
Lord. Okay, Krishna, please, Jagannath.
Yeah. But yeah, the best thing is to have devotees association, and like what we're doing, that's why we connect up.
My weakness is a sweet. Anything sweet comes that, my brain doesn't work. And the brain is just out of control. Then if the sweet comes and in gulab jamun and things comes that, some part of this here is shut down. Maybe the logic switch is off by itself. It's going the auto mode and then I start eating, which I shouldn't.
Just make sure it's the prasadam gulab, that's all, and then it's okay.
Well, like even if not prasadam, I just offer to Jagannath and eat. I put top of the head, Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, and eating there, Jai Hare Krishna, and five, offer to Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj and eating.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Still, I get diabetes if I keep eating that. I should have to control anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, if you want to eat nice foods, then you should have a lot of movement. You know, some walking, some exercise like that. Just eating nicely and not being active is not good. But like, just don't drive around in your van. Just get out and go for a walk on the beach, in the park, like that. Go for a swim, like that.
Last 3 weeks, I did that very labor-intense work. I lost 5 kilo. Last 3 weeks, I work in there. And very labor-intense work. They're very hard. And some of the, he said, are you available on the weekend? I said, yes. And they give me 7:30 in the morning till 9:30 in the night, 14-hour shift.
Oh, my God.
And I said, okay, take me anything, like every drop of my blood in my body, just take. And then that's the thing. Maximum is squeeze that. I want to see that I'm 57. I still have got some spark left in my body. It's all gone. But I think I did have, even cancer survivor, I still have a spark and I just still kicking.
Okay. So what was the work? What were you doing?
It was a grain handler that grain comes that with the crop season. I have to check it that their moisture and stuff and allocate it. There are trucks to which conveyor belt they have to go, which bunker they have to go. So there was a 3-week season was there. 150 to 200 trucks was coming a day. So I was like 10 hours, 8 hours, stand on my feet, and then doing running here and there, only half an hour, sit down for lunch and then run up again. And it's a bit of dusty environment. I said, doesn't matter. Hare Krishna. And like I was just saying, even a truck driver to Hare Krishna. And this is, what the hell is that? I said, oh, sorry. Have a nice day. So sometimes I just say in a caravan, I stay there. I don't know the next person. When I just say bye to them, I say Hare Krishna. And they look at me. It just comes out naturally. And then I say, good. Okay, good. See you again. See you later, man. But the Hare Krishna is just like, at least they can listen Hare Krishna sometime. So they might get one stage in their life because they hear that Hare Krishna. Sometime maybe 10 year, 20 year next life, they will come back.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, if you're working hard, doing physical work, then a lot of movement, then you can eat nice foods, opulent foods. Have your gulabs in that. Otherwise, better eat simply. Okay, let's get into the verse for today. So text 13. Yep. We can read. This is often quoted by Prabhupada, this verse. Very nice verse.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Mahatmas. Mahatmanas tumam partha.
Mahatmanas tumam partha.
Daivim prakritim ashrita.
Daivim prakritim ashrita.
Bhajantyananya manaso.
Bhajantyananya manaso.
Yatva bhutadim avyayam.
Yatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of God, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Exhaustible, what's that mean?
Inexhaustible. Inexhaustible. Means never exhausted. Never exhausted.
Oh, that's me. I never get exhausted. After 14 hours of standing there, still never get exhausted. Thank you, Krishna.
So, Pritha is another name of Arjuna's mother, Kunti. So that's who's addressing Arjuna. Krishna's saying, "O son of Pritha," means "O son of Kunti." So that's one of Arjuna's one of Arjuna's names. That's why his name was Partha. One of Arjuna's names is Partha. So Partha means son of Pritha. So when you see Arjuna's addressed as Partha, like one of Krishna's names is Partha Sarthi.
Yeah, Krishna.
Partha Sarthi.
Yeah. But
So
who's Pritha? Who's Pritha?
that's
Partha.
Arjuna's mother, Kunti. So that's
Okay.
another one of Kunti's names is Pritha. So Arjuna's name was Partha, one of his Partha. So one of Krishna's names was Partha Sarthi. So Sarthi means
He's
either on
the
the
son of
chariot. Ratha
he's
means
the son of Pandu. Is it Pandu? He's the son of
chariot.
no.
Together. Hang on, Gulshan. Just yeah. Yeah. What do you want to say?
Who's the father of Arjuna?
Father of Arjuna is Pandu.
Pandu, so Pandu's son. Okay. He couldn't say like a house
Why they're
Pandus.
called,
But when we say that, like like Krishna is like a Devaki Nandan, like he's a son of Devaki or Nand Maharaj. So we can't mention his father's name.
Yeah, that's why we say Pandavas. Pandavas means the five sons of Pandu. Pandavas.
Okay. Pandavas.
Yeah,
Okay,
Pandavas comes from Pandu. The five sons of Pandu are the Pandavas. Like that. So or Pandu Putra, the son of Pandu Putra, Pandavas, yeah. So, Partha Sarthi, so that means they were together on the chariot he was on the chariot with Arjuna. So Partha means Arjuna and Sarati means on the chariot. So they were on the chariot together, Partha Sarthi. So he's saying, oh, son of Pritha, son of Arjuna, son of Kunti, those who are not deluded. So the previous verse was talking about those that are deluded by Maya. So that was mentioned in text 12. Prakritim mohinam shrita, the last line. So that's the Maya, or this material nature, Prakritim, has a bewildering effect. That's mohinam. So mohinam means bewildering. Actually, one of Krishna's incarnations was called Mohini Murti. Mohini Murti. So Murti means the form. So, and Mohini, like it said here, it means bewildering. So he had a very bewildering form. This is a very unusual incarnation of Krishna because he appeared in a female form. So that female form was very bewildering to the men. Very bewildering to them. So beautiful, so attractive. And Krishna displayed this Mohini form, bewildering form, when the demigods and the demons together to churn the milk ocean. So during pastime, and then after they churned the ocean and they got a pot of nectar, the incarnation of Ayurveda named Dhanvantari came out of the ocean with a pot of nectar, Amrita. Then they were starting to fight over it. No, we want it. The demigods. No, the demons want it. No, so they were fighting. So then Mohini Murti appeared, and she was like, what do you call it when someone comes in between two parties that are fighting? Is it arbitrary, or what do you call it? Arbitrary. When you've got someone that comes in to try to reconcile,
Arbitrator.
Arbitrator.
The arbitrator.
Yeah, thank you, Deepa. So Mohini Murti came in as an arbitrator, try to pacify the two sides and get some agreement happening there, make it a win-win scenario rather than win-lose, lose-win kind of thing, lose-lose. So
maybe she come to distract the demons.
She did. So they were completely fell to pieces at the beauty of Mohini Murti.
It's all Krishna's Leela anyway.
I know. And then they said to her, "Whatever you decide, we'll agree with that." We were hoping that she'd be pleased with them and then fulfill their lusty desires. But then she ended up giving the nectar to the demigods, so she ended up cheating the demons and the demigods. But Rahu and Ketu, two demons, sneaked into the line disguised as demigods, and they got some nectar. And then the sun god and the moon god detected that they weren't real demigods, so they sounded the alarm. And then Mohini Murti, because she's actually God, pulled out her Sudarshan chakra and chopped off their heads. But because they had taken the nectar up to the throat, then the head didn't die. Just below the throat died.
Oh yeah.
Bodies died.
It didn't went through.
Yeah. So actually, during the time of the eclipse, when you have a solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, that's actually said to be those heads of Rahu and Ketu. They're invisible planets, and they come in between. They come in between us and the sun and the moon, and therefore you get an eclipse in those particular times. The next one's coming up in March. It's supposed to be a really bad one, and not a very good time during the eclipse. It's a good time to chant Hare Krishna and not much else. So it's recommended not to eat during the eclipse, not to sleep during the eclipse, anything like that. Just not to go outside during eclipse. Don't look at the eclipse. All the crazy Westerners, they love to look at eclipses. It's actually not.
Yeah, with the different glasses and sunnies and I know it. Yeah,
it's
especially
very bad.
in America. Yeah.
Pregnant women is very dangerous for pregnant women, like that, for the child in the womb, very dangerous. So yeah, that came out of that pastime, and interestingly, it relates to what's happening now in India. At that time, it said that some nectar fell down to earth. Some of the nectar, when that pot was being thrown around and stuff. So some nectar, Amrit, fell down to the earth, and that happens every certain number of years. Some of that nectar comes down, and that's where the Kumbh Mela, Magha Mela. So now is that time in India. Now is actually a very rare, according to the lunar calendar, the moon calendar. It's a very rare one, once in every 144 years. A very special. So apparently there's like 400 million people have gone.
Expected that today. Yeah, I was thinking that. 400 million people expecting.
It's the biggest festival on earth.
ISKCON put the stall as well for the Prashadam. A lot of organizations, they just distribute the free Prashadam. So ISKCON put the stall as well for free Prashadam. But it's very rare one. Yes.
So it happens every 4 years. There's a small one, and there's a big one every 12 years.
12 years. That was a 12-year one. Yeah.
Extra big one. And they have the faith that if they bathe in this Triveni, means the Ganges, Yamuna, and Saraswati, they meet together in Prayag. And Prayagraj. And then they believe they'll get liberation, mukti. So that's why there's so many people are going there. They have faith that they'll get mukti.
That one and two of them. That one, and if you pull the rope of Jagannath in the Rath Yatra in Puri, you will definitely get the moksha. These two.
Yeah, but it's different because
is it?
Yeah, if you do some devotional service, Krishna consciousness, then you go back to Godhead. But just the simple liberation, getting out of the material world, is not necessarily a permanent fix if it's not related with Krishna service. But pulling the Jagannath's chariot, that's directly devotional service, Krishna consciousness. So I'd say that's even more better than just bathing in the...
Yes, more than anything else, yes.
But yeah, very auspicious.
Very.
Like I brought this up because we're talking about Mohini Murti. So yeah, very bewildering form. So also Maya has that effect on us of bewildering us. And in that bewildered situation, we forget who we are. Who are we? We're an eternal soul. We're a servant of Krishna. So we forget that we're a soul. We forget that we're a servant of Krishna. And we falsely identify with the body. And we think the goal of life is to enjoy the body, sense gratification. So that's the bewilderment of Maya. Just living a life of thinking with the body. I'm an American. I'm a Kiwi, an Indian, an Australian, whatever. I'm a man. I'm a woman. And just try to enjoy the senses of the body and try to satisfy the tongue and the belly and genitals and so forth. Eat, drink, be merry, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And that way we waste our life, spoil our life, and go, cycle of samsara, birth and death. By that, so it's very unfortunate. But we don't have to do that. So saying in this verse, those who are not deluded. So yeah, we can get out of that. And how do we get out of that? If we become a great soul by, how do you become a great soul? By coming under the protection of the divine nature. So that's a great soul. Who's a great soul? If you surrender to Krishna, then you come under the protection of the divine nature. So how do you come under that protection? How do you get that protection? That's only by surrendering to Krishna. And it's there's a verse explaining that in the 7th chapter, text 14, I think it is.
Second chapter?
7.
7, 14. Okay.
14, I think it is.
Okay. The divine energy of mind consisting of 3 modes of material nature. It is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it.
Mm. So
surrender to Krishna or surrender to your Guru Maharaj? Same thing?
Yeah, same thing. Krishna is representative. Krishna is representative. So this is how we get the protection of the divine energy, is through surrendering to Krishna. And how do you surrender to Krishna? Then that's through by following the instructions of the spiritual master. And the basic instructions Prabhupada gave to everyone was to chant 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and follow the 4 regulated principles. Yeah. So, and try our best, to spread Krishna consciousness.
And then follow that at 10-10.
Yes.
That's the one is main.
It says, to those who dedicate their life to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which.
It comes to me. Yeah, that's 10-10.
Yeah. So yeah, if we dedicate our life to serving Krishna, engaging in devotional service, then we'll get protected by this divine nature, Krishna's personal energy. And in that surrendered state, like it's saying here, they are fully engaged in devotional service. So that's very important, and that's mentioned in that 10-10. Those that constantly engage in serving me with love. So it's very constantly engaged, or in this case, fully engaged. So that's very important, because like I said, if there's any gaps, that's when Maya comes in. So if you just chant 16 rounds and then go to the pub, it's not going to work. You have to
I think after 16 round, follow the Prabhupada. I don't think so you can go to pub. You can't, your feet's not going to go in. No way. How can you be? It's not possible. I know Maya is very strong, but once you follow the Prabhupada and 16 round, nah.
Yeah.
I think they are more stronger, 16 rounds and Prabhupada.
But yeah, I mean, we still have to be careful what we do for the other 22 hours in the day. That's the thing, So it's not like, I've chanted 16 rounds, so I can do any damn thing now. No, then it could be dangerous. Then we might get bewildered in that remaining 22 hours. So we try to, a sincere devotee tries to think how I can fill up my day in Krishna consciousness. So I'm going to chant my 16 rounds, and then I'm going to read some of Prabhupada's books. I'm going to go and pick some flowers and make a garland for the deities, or give the deities a bath and do an aarti. I'm going to cook something for Krishna and then eat that. And then I'm going to go and make some money for Krishna. to go and make some
Yep.
money for
Harinam or distributing the books.
like that, and tell other people about Krishna and things like that. Grow some vegetables and fruits for Krishna and whatever it is. So we have different engagements there. Some people act as a Vaishya. That's what I'm doing at the moment, producing food. And then some people act as a Sudra, as a Kshatriya, as a Brahmana. Now we're acting as a Brahmana, teaching. So we can, put different shoes on. A Vaishnava is actually, ultimately, we're not a Sudra, we're not a Vaishya, we're not a Kshatriya, we're not a Brahmana, we're not a Brahmachari, we're not a Grihastha, we're not a Vanaprastha, we're not a sannyasi. The actual position is that we're an eternal servant of Krishna. But so we can act in different capacities. So this morning I acted as a Vaishya, and I planted some banana trees today and cut some grass. And then now I'm acting as a Brahmana and teaching something like that. So we can act in different roles, but try to keep engaged in some, constructive, positive services that keep our body, our mind, our intellect, engaged in Krishna's service. And that's what bhakti means. Bhakti means engaging our senses in Krishna's service. And included within the senses is the mind. So there's actually 11 senses. Did you know that? What are the 11 senses? I'll give you a clue. There's 5 knowledge acquiring senses, and there's 5 acting senses. And then there's one other one that you can't see.
It's like a no touch, ear, see, whatever you call them. I know in Hindi, not in English.
It's too fast. I've just got a Kali Yuga brain. So touch, you said touch. So
Touch,
that's
eyes,
the knowledge
ear,
sense, Andrew.
see,
Eyes, you're seeing, and
hearing,
hearing. Yep.
yeah.
Nose.
Tasting, nose and tasting as well. Testing.
So that's 5 knowledge acquiring senses. And then there's 5 working senses. What are the 5 working senses? Arms.
Oh,
do
yeah.
work. Legs do work.
Yeah.
Your mouth, chewing. See, the tongue is tasting. That's actually giving you knowledge. This is sweet, this is sour, this is salty. But the mouth itself is just working. That's chomping on food. And, the genitals and the anus. So these are the 5 working senses. And then the 11th one is the mind. That one, you can't see that one. So it's a subtle sense. But that's actually the central point of all the senses. So all the information from the knowledge acquiring senses go into the mind. So the mind is like a reservoir of all the ideas that come in from the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, like that.
So the mind is the most stronger one, like most stronger sense, is it? Or?
Yeah, that's very strong. We can look at that. 6th chapter, text number 23, maybe. Let's have a look. No, 3. 6.
Six.
No. One should 20. It's where Arjuna is Taklam Himana Krishna Pramati Balabhadradam. The mind is very strong, turbulent, restless, above all, always disturbed. Say that. Oh, yeah.
Chanchalam Himana.
6:34.
Yeah.
The mind is restless.
Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati
Prevalent.
bhadram tasya nikrayamate vasem sutsam. Next verse as well. Asanche mahabhava mano durgati chalam abhyasana kunte viragyana chagrate. If you keep practicing, that's the only way. There's no other way. Shut up and practice. That's what Krishna is saying. I'm not saying that. Krishna is saying, shut up and practice. Only one way.
So yeah, the mind is very strong. And actually, the whole purpose of all the yoga systems is to control the mind. Whether you're looking at Hatha Yoga, Stanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, the essential point is to control the mind. It's very important. As long as the mind is carried away with the senses and sense gratification, it's not going to be possible to make spiritual advancement. The first thing
those were the saintly people, like the sadhus and all that. They're trying to control the mind as well through the meditation and different things there. All the one aim is to be control the mind. Okay.
That's the foundation of it, to control the mind. And then when you have controlled the mind, what are you going to focus it on? You're going to focus on
once the mind is controlled, that you be straight to the Krishna. There's nothing in between you and Krishna. The mind is the one.
No, I mean, a lot of people meditate on things other than Krishna. They meditate on their heart and their breathing, or a white light or a candle, or so there's heaps of other.
Would they see everything in Krishna in there? Like even if they are meditation on the candle or a breath or heart, would they see that Krishna is in there?
No. The only way you can see Krishna, the only way you can come to Krishna consciousness?
Well, that to serve the devotee.
The only way is by Krishna's mercy. Krishna reveals himself to someone.
But if you serve the devotee, the Krishna mercy will come. Krishna lives in their devotees.
Yeah.
If you serve the devotee, mercy will come.
Devotees. Is that by chance that you meet devotees?
Oh, I don't know. How do I met you? Was it by chance or just the?
No, it's not by Krishna's mercy.
Mercy. Okay. Krishna must be, I must did some act in my past life or this life, which Krishna is the ocean of mercy. He got a mercy and then introduced to you, A.C. Bhaktivedanta. Okay, good, wonderful. Thank you, Krishna.
It's Krishna's mercy. That's why, like this chapter, what is the chapter called that we're on now? The most confidential knowledge. Confidential means a secret. So why is this a secret? It means it's only people going to get this knowledge that Krishna reveals it to. It's not an open thing. Does that mean Krishna doesn't want to give it to everyone? Yes, of course he does. But most people are not qualified. Most, first of all, have to become qualified to receive the knowledge. And when Krishna is pleased with the person, that they're ready to receive it, then he'll give it. You don't give a PhD to a 5-year-old, do you?
No.
They're not
same like, taxi driver cannot be a brain surgeon. He has to go through the process, study the medicine and 5 years and do that, and then work in the hospital, then become a surgeon. That there's a process there. He can't. If you send him to the operation table there, he couldn't operate. Same as us, as what we're going through.
Yeah. And related to the previous verse, we looked at the last couple of weeks, 9:11, 9:12.
Yeah.
What is going on there that disqualifies the person?
So it's like a Bin Laden. Bin Laden was qualified. That's why he chose 9/11 to blow the Twin Tower. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So there's a disqualification there that Krishna's not going to reveal himself to those people because they're envious of Krishna, because they hate Krishna. You know, so, and that's why it's confidential. You know, would you reveal your inner secrets, deeper Bhaktimala Gulshan, to someone that doesn't like you or hates you?
No. Someone I trust.
Yeah.
Someone I love.
You're going to tell how much you have in your bank and that to just a stranger or something, or
Someone I love. Like I'm happy to tell my daughter because I love her.
of course. Okay, so that's it. So if there's some bhakti there, then Krishna reveals himself. So if there's a loving relationship, so just like we only reveal our inner secrets to someone that we have a loving relationship with, that we trust. We don't reveal even our inner secrets to a stranger. So why would Krishna do that, you know? So we can understand Krishna by understanding ourselves too. Know what I mean? Krishna's like just part of Krishna. So he's whatever we've got, he has, but more. We're just a minute little a minute version of Krishna. So just like we don't reveal our inner secrets, confidential things to strangers, so Krishna doesn't either. Only someone that he trusts and has a loving relationship. So yeah, this is the process of getting into that circle of Krishna, and for Krishna to reveal himself when we surrender to Krishna and come under the protection of the divine nature, Krishna's energy. And like I said, that fully surrendering means being fully engaged in devotional service. And that fully engaged in devotional service doesn't mean you have to live in the temple. That was a misunderstanding. That it was a lot in the early days of ISKCON, that it was regarded that you had to be a brahmachari or brahmacharini, and you had to live in a temple and do full-time service in the temple. Otherwise, it was regarded you're in Maya. That wasn't what Prabhupada...
How come the Grust can do it?
That a lot of the devotees thought in the early days. And then the brahmacharis would get really heavy and come down on the grihastas who were living outside the temple. But that's actually not philosophy. You can be living outside the temple and be fully engaged in Krishna's service.
Yeah.
Despite doing prescribed duties, as long as you do them for Krishna's pleasure.
Yeah.
And that's Varnashram Dharma. And Prabhupada said that we're actually not followers of Hindu. Like a lot of people think that Hare Krishnas are Hindus, but we're not actually Hindus. What should we designate ourselves as?
We are Vaishnavas.
Yeah, we're Vaishnavas, but we're followers of Varnashram Dharma, or another name, Sanatana Dharma. That's what we follow, Sanatana Dharma or Varnashram Dharma. So it means 4 Varnas, 4 ashramas. So where there's different duties. Brahmacharya is one, but that's not the whole thing. There's also grihastas and also vanaprasthas. That's mean when you're retired from family life, when the children have grown up and the children are situated, and then the husband and wife retire from all the family responsibilities and engage in more austerities and things like that, preparing for death and things. And then sannyas is that then the man, you know, will travel and preach Krishna consciousness like what Prabhupada was doing. And the wife would go back to the grown-up children and be looked after by the grown-up sons. And
so wife can't live with like a sannyasi. The wife is actually his wife, and she gone through with the grasta and vanprastha. When he comes to sannyasi, he has to leave his wife. She can't live with him, like go to the Krishna consciousness.
Sannyas, not if you take sannyas, but it's not necessary that everyone's going to take sannyas. Not necessary. Generally, only the brahmanas would take sannyas. Generally, only the brahmanas. Sudras generally never go beyond grihasta, and kshatriyas go up to vanaprastha. but only the Brahmanas usually go to sannyas. And actually, sannyas is not recommended in Kali Yuga. There's 4 things that are not recommended in Kali Yuga, and one of them is taking sannyas. But one can take sannyas. I mean, Lord Chaitanya took sannyas in Kali Yuga, but just for purely for spreading Krishna consciousness.
Prabhupada took sannyas.
Yeah, Prabhupada took sannyas. But it's actually not recommended because generally in Kali Yuga, we're not qualified for all these things. There's a very a lot. You have to be a special kind of person to be able to function as a sannyasi.
At
Yeah.
least, like a lot of Prabhupada disciples, they are sannyasi now, and but at least they're trying, so which is good.
Yeah, many of them fell down, which shows why it's
Fell down
recommended.
doesn't matter. At least they're trying the footstep of Prabhupada. That all it matters.
Not really. I mean, yeah, I mean, you say you want to try, but then if you do fall down and then you've got 10,000 disciples, you've screwed up a lot of their lives. So it's a big responsibility. It's a big responsibility.
But the scare of fall down, you don't even climb the mountain. That's not really,
No,
what I mean?
but it means, you have to realize it's a serious responsibility. Some people
Yes,
take
yes.
us for wrong reasons. What are some wrong reasons you could want to be a
Or
sannyasi?
they want a position and the whole, everyone's just bowing down my feet and like,
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's a good way to make a hell of a lot of money because all those disciples are going to give you money, Guru Dakshina.
Yes, yes.
And like, and they give you cars and even houses and everything like that. People can do it for the wrong reason. And then you're going to splat on your face. And not only are you going to go splat on your face, but cause other people to go splat on their face. So we should think 100 times before we do all these things.
Before, absolutely.
Yeah. And others should also check whether the person is qualified. Just like the spiritual master is supposed to observe the person that wants to become a disciple to see if they're qualified to be a disciple. So also senior devotees should check that the person is qualified to be a sannyasi. But then you could say, well, why did Prabhupada give so many people sannyas and then they fell down? Well, in his case, it was an emergency. Just imagine he's 70 plus years old. He could die any day. And he had to spread Krishna consciousness all around the world. He doesn't have any time. He's running out of time, running out of energy. I mean, how much can you run around when you're 70 plus? So he engaged a lot of young people and made them sannyasis and got them to run around all over the world. And they did a great service, but some of them fell on their face later on. So
even if you give it Guru Maharaj give the 100 people to sannyas, like Radhanath Maharaj or Jayapataka Maharaj, out of 100, if the 5 fell down, at least 95 will spread the Krishna consciousness. It's good rather than you thinking, oh, you know what, I'm gonna give it only 5 people out of 100 to sannyas, and the 5 people they are the one spread the Krishna consciousness. Rather than 5 people, instead of 95 people, it'll be spread more. Even 5 fall down, which happens. But in order to, thinking of so tight there, all might fall down, may not be, or this is. But falling down will be just natural. But give it a maximum people sannyas, so spread more.
I mean, the thing is now we have time. There's no rush. We're not all 70 plus years old and we run out of time. Now we should make sure people are properly qualified before giving them.
Yeah, qualification is must. Yeah.
I did it because it was an emergency. Is there an emergency now? There's no emergency. Already Krishna consciousness is all over the world. It's in every country in the world. There's no big rush that we have to send unqualified people out in the form of sannyasi.
Yeah, but before COVID, there was an emergency. You don't know how many people are dying. Give it a sannyas as quick as possible. COVID was happening. We don't know, like thousands of people are dying in a day. But it doesn't happen. I didn't get the initiation on that day anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, the problem also, part of the problem is that people don't really know what sannyas means. This sannyas means just taking a special initiation and wearing a different dress and everything. No, it actually, sannyas means dedicating yourself to Krishna consciousness. So can a grihastha not dedicate himself to Krishna consciousness? Can a brahmachari not dedicate himself to Krishna consciousness? Can a lady not dedicate themselves to Krishna consciousness? No, anyone can dedicate themselves. So in that sense, anyone that's dedicated to Krishna consciousness in whatever varna or ashram they're in is a sannyasi. So let's look at that. In the 18th chapter, Krishna actually defines what is sannyas means. And he doesn't mention anything about the dress that you wear, or the body you have, or how old you are, or anything like that. So it's the beginning of the 18th chapter, text number 2. 18th chapter, text number 2.
The personality of Godhead said the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what the great learned men call that renounced order of life, sannyasa. And giving up the results of activity is what the wise call renunciation, tyaga.
So what is sannyas according to Krishna here? Giving up activities that are based on material desire. Okay? So a brahmachari can do that, a grihastha can do that, any man, any woman can do that. If you only do activities to please Krishna, then technically, according to this, you're a sannyasi. If you just act to please Krishna. Prabhupada said in the early days of my movement, all of my disciples are sannyasis. So say at that time there might have been 5,000 disciples. Maybe there might have been 100 sannyasis, and then there might have been 1,000 brahmacharis, and the rest were grihasthas. So, but he said all of them are sannyasis. So what does Prabhupada mean? They're all sannyasis, because like this, they had given up activities based on material desire. They were just doing all the activities with the desire to please Krishna. They just wanted to please Krishna. So the brahmacharis wanted to please Krishna, the grihasthas wanted to please Krishna, the men wanted to please Krishna, the ladies wanted to please Krishna, and the sannyasis also wanted to please Krishna. So the main thing is that you want to please Krishna, not just please yourself. Material desire means you want to just please yourself, and spiritual desire means you want to please Krishna. So you can do that in a family situation. You can do that in a single situation, like that. So it's it wasn't seen as absolutely essential to actually take that sannyas order of life like that. But I mean, that can also be done to spread Krishna consciousness. That's a really good way as a sannyasi to spread Krishna consciousness, because that's all you're doing. You're not like in a grihastha, you have to spend time making money and stuff. So you're not able to spend your whole time spreading Krishna consciousness. So it is a good scenario to spread Krishna consciousness, because you don't have any other activities you have to do. But in any situation we're in, we can please Krishna. Please Krishna. That's a sannyasi, according to this. So yeah, that's the main point, is that being fully engaged, and that's when we're going to be under the complete protection of the Lord. So you always try to have some fulfilling kind of engagement that we can be remembering Krishna.
After our conversation last week, I got the book out that I was talking about, the Krishna meditations, because I don't have active devotional service at the moment. I thought I'll try and what she said was to look at each of the little parts in here and meditate upon different aspects of Krishna's energy and Krishna's beauty and things like that.
Yeah.
So like you can pick one a day or you can pick one a week or something. And this last one, I thought I'll do one a week. And this one was Krishna as heat. And it talks about different aspects of warmth and heat and Krishna and his body and all different things like that. And so you and they've given you different meditations, you know, about heat involved in cooking and all different things like that. So you can, even if you're not really engaged in active service, but you can be trying to remember that one aspect of Krishna. And it's really interesting actually, because then as the week progressed, there was all these fires over the world, and then we had like extreme heat here and things like that. So yeah, it's a nice way to meditate on Krishna as well. In this, that's by that Urmila.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really nice because when you well, I don't spend a lot of time meditating on Krishna, so it's a nice aspect of devotional service, that remembering, you know, as well. Yeah.
I mean, you said you're not doing active service. By that, do you mean you're not in the temple?
Oh, right. Well, I'm not going to the temple. I'm not at the Bhakti tree, you know, but I'm obviously I'm doing, you know, I'm looking after the house for Krishna. I'm, you know, cooking for Krishna, all those types of things, but just not having something to fully engage myself in.
That we have to get out of that way of thinking that active service means if we're in the temple or a preaching center, and otherwise we're not. If we're outside of that, we're not actively serving. But no, that's not true. You know, just even if you're in your house remembering Krishna, like you were saying, the different elements and stuff, that is service. You know, you're chanting rounds. You know, you're meeting with people, talk with them about Krishna, like Gulshan was doing, mentioning Krishna to people that he was working with. That's all part of Krishna consciousness. We have to get out of this institutional idea of Krishna consciousness. Actually, the way ISKCON's set up, it's like a university. But do you get your education there? But do you spend your whole life at the university?
No.
No, you go there for a specific period, you learn whatever you're going to learn, and then you go out and practice it.
Yeah.
Actually, what we've learned in the temple, what we've learned in the preaching center, we're going out in the world and we apply that in our lives. And that's the consciousness. That is your devotional service. It's not like while I was at university, I was doing devotional service, and then while I was at the temple, and then when I go out, then I'm not doing devotional service. No, that's when you're actually supposed to be applying it and practicing it. That was the theory that you learned how to, you know, do these things, and now you're putting it into your life and everyday life by that. We want to, and that's partly a fault of the institution, to make people think that you have to be living in the temple, otherwise you're not a real devotee or something like that.
Yeah.
Not,
I think that it
not,
does.
and
I think it does
that's not
exist.
what you're going to read.
Yeah, that mentality does exist.
It's mentality. It helped actually. Association, live in the temple. The association
Wrong, and
it's really helped.
That's still, what's that?
It's association help. Like if you live in the temple, the association, there's some of the devotee comes, sometime you know, the Guru Maharaj comes, sometime, you know, sannyasis comes. Their association makes you to lift it up. That's a good thing. But not necessarily like Grasta can't live in the temple, you know.
Correct.
He has got a wife and a kids there, so it doesn't mean he don't Krishna conscious. Of course he is. Everybody doing on your own level. Like just now, Bhakti Mala, you offer that. Gulshan, if you come, you like to, if you can have anywhere to shower, you can come to my home and have a shower. That's a bhakti. That's a service. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Krishna consciousness to be really practical for our lives, we have to be able to do it in any stage. You know, it doesn't depend on any material situation. That's an important characteristic of devotional service. It doesn't depend on a material situation. It doesn't depend on whether you're a brahmachari or a grihasta or a vanaprastha sannyasi, whether you're a sudra, vaishya, kshatriya, brahmana. It's completely spiritual. It's completely spiritual. So you can do it in any situation. Doesn't matter what vana, what ashrama. If it only works in a temple, then it's not a practical way of life. You know, it's not a practical process. Now, you can be Krishna conscious and do devotional service in any situation in life. Doesn't matter where you are or how old you are or the condition of your body or anything like that. And that's the beauty of it. It's a real science. It's not just some ritualistic thing that you do on a Sunday for 2 hours or whatever like that. It's like a Christian mentality, you know, that you're one kind of consciousness when you go to church and then you're something else. Now, this is your whole life, you know, like you were saying, that, you know, when you see the fire, you remember Krishna, and you see the water, you remember Krishna, and the earth reminds you of Krishna, and every time you drink water, you remember Krishna and everything like that. When you see someone, you think of Krishna like that. So it's just changing the consciousness all the time like that. And we learn these techniques at the temple. Yeah, that's where we, you know, that education, and then you go out and practice it like that. Okay, let's get into the purport. Deepa, you want the purport for today, 9:13? Do you want to read the first paragraph, please?
In this verse, the description of the Mahatma is clearly given. Or have I got it here? The best sign of the Mahatma is that he is already situated in the divine nature. He is not under the control of material nature. And how is this effected? This is explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, at once becomes freed from the control of material nature.
And that's the verse that we read, 7:14. Yeah.
Yeah.
Continue. Yeah.
That is the qualification. One can become free from the control of material nature as soon as he surrenders his soul to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the preliminary formula. Being material, marginal potency as soon as the living entity is freed from the control of material nature. He is not under the guidance of the spiritual nature. Yeah. He is put under the guidance of the spiritual nature. The guidance of the spiritual nature is called Daivi Prakriti, divine nature. So when one is promoted in that way by surrendering to Supreme Personality of Godhead, one attains to the stage of great soul, Mahatma.
Yes, so marginal means in the middle. So we're right margin. Like Prabhupada said on the beach. On the beach, where the water, that line where the water meets the sand, that's called the margin. So right in between. So where marginal means we're in between the material nature and the spiritual nature. We always have that choice. Are you going to go towards the material nature Maya, or are you going to go towards the spiritual nature? So that choice we always have, we're right in the middle, like that, marginal. So if we, with that free choice, go to the spiritual side, then we become a Mahatma. That's a great soul. If you make your choice to surrender to Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, then you're a Mahatma. And if you make your choice to surrender to the material energy, then you become a Duratma. Duratma means very low, very sinful, like that. Atma means soul. So Maha means great and Atma means soul. Like we have Maha Mantra, right? The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Mantra means control the mind, and Maha means great. The great mantra for deliverance, for controlling the mind, for delivering us. So great soul. And interesting on this topic of Mahatma, we have in the history of this earth that many Indians, they gave this designation to Mahatma Gandhi. They called him a Mahatma. But Prabhupada didn't agree with that. You know, as a politician, you can't give this, this is not the right title for a politician. And no question he's done some good service for fellow Indians, but that doesn't mean he's a Mahatma. Mahatma is one who takes shelter of the spiritual energy by surrendering to Krishna. And he wasn't really doing that. And actually, Prabhupada said that he also, Mahatma Gandhi, wrote his own commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. And he said that the Bhagavad Gita was actually teaching lessons on non-violence. Prabhupada said, how the hell can you, not how the hell, but how can you see that as the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita as non-violence, when the whole purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is Krishna is trying to encourage Arjuna to become violent. Prabhupada said you can't have politics without violence. It's not possible. Politics must have violence. There's always going to be some enemies in any country, and they're going to need to be physically suppressed if they don't, you know, voluntarily agree to toe the line. You know, if someone, first of all, you try to get people to, you know, do what you want, toe the line. But then if they don't agree to do what, you know, they'll follow the laws. If they don't agree to follow the laws, then what are you going to do? Ultimately, the only solution is that you have to apply some violence like that. So you can't have politics without violence. It's not possible in the material world. I mean, it's unfortunate, of course. I mean, it's definitely not a nice thing to be engaged in violence, but unfortunately it's necessary, because the material world means, like in the 16th chapter, there is divine and demoniac. So as long as we're in the material world, there's always going to be this duality of divine and demoniac. In the spiritual world, it's only divine. You don't need violence in the spiritual world, because everyone is surrendered to Krishna, everyone is divine, everyone is cooperating, there's complete unity like that. There's so many unlimited living entities, but they're all in complete harmony and unity with pleasing Krishna. In the spiritual world, there's only one master, and that's Krishna, and everyone else is a servant. But in the material world, it's the opposite. In the material world, what is everyone thinking?
A power and the money.
I'm the master, and you're all my servants, and everyone's thinking that. So you put all those masters together, what are you going to end up with? Peace and harmony? It's going to be World War III. You know, so it's like Prabhupada said, when you put dogs together, are you going to get peace and harmony when you put dogs together? No, because a dog has this mentality, this is my land. Why are you coming here? And we're all thinking that, you know, this New Zealand belongs to me, or this America belongs to me, or Australia belongs to me, or India belongs to me, or, you know, Fiji belongs to me. You know, we're all thinking we're proprietors like that we're the enjoyers, we're the proprietor, we're the controller. In the 16th chapter, Krishna is explaining the mentality of a demon. He says, Ishvaraham aham bhogi. Ishvaraham means I am the controller, and aham bhogi means I am the enjoyer. So as long as you're going to have that mentality, and putting all those people together in the material world that have that mentality, is always going to be fighting. Can't escape that. But Gandhi is saying, you know, Bhagavad Gita is teaching non-violence. So yeah, he wasn't really a Mahatma. I mean, he did good work, and we have to appreciate that. But he actually wanted independence, of course, from the British for India. And eventually that got achieved, but was that through non-violence? Actually not. Actually, the British left India not because of Gandhi's promoting non-violence for decades and decades, but they left India because there was a man named Subhash Chandra Bose that was a Bengali.
Yeah.
That he was raising a Indian army outside of India that
Yep.
was going to attack the British. He was raising up an army and training them to fight outside of India, and they were going to attack the British. And the British,
It's not a
the
one person. There's a lot of sacrifice. A lot of other people they sacrifice that to get freedom. It doesn't happen overnight. It took years and years because Britishers they're like 200 years, and it's not
Yeah,
going to go that easily. Yeah, a lot of
yeah.
sacrifice. Millions
But
of people died.
the British actually left India not because of non-violence, but because of violence like that. So anyway, I'm just making this point that the term Mahatma is only supposed to be given for one that surrenders to Krishna by engaging in devotional service, not just because you've done some, you know, welfare work in society, or you know, helped a lady cross the road or something like that. It's a very special title for that reason. One time a man asked Prabhupada, he said, India is the land of the Mahatmas. So why is it that India had so many problems? So this was 50 years ago, after the British left India. So, but even though India had independence from the British, still they had so many problems. So he was saying that India is the land of the Mahatmas. So shouldn't the presence of the Mahatmas counteract all of these problems? Why is that not happening? Prabhupada said, this is very fascinating. He said, the reason why India has so many problems is because they do not know who is a Mahatma. The reason we have so many problems is because they do not know who is the Mahatma. The person they are calling a Mahatma is not a Mahatma. And the person that is a Mahatma, they do not know. They do not respect him as a Mahatma. They do not, you know, deal with him, treat him as a Mahatma. So they don't know. The person that is a Mahatma, they don't treat him as a Mahatma. And the person that isn't a Mahatma, they treat him like a Mahatma. And Prabhupada said that is the reason why India has so many problems. So they're not approaching the right person.
Lack of knowledge.
A lack of knowledge is ignorance, you know. So because of ignorance, and because of that, there's suffering. And
That's why a lot of yogis in India in the jail.
okay.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of them in jail.
Yeah, a lot of hypocrites. A lot of
Yep.
hypocrisy there, you know, people cheating and
Misuse their power. And
yeah, misuse the power and everything. Yeah, so Krishna here is giving us the complete picture. Who is a Mahatma? Who should we approach? We take shelter of, like that. Okay, a little bit of time left. Bhakti Malik, you want to read the last paragraph?
The Mahatma does not divert his attention to anything outside Krishna because he knows perfectly well that Krishna is the original Supreme Person, the cause of all causes. There is no doubt about it. Such a Mahatma or great soul develops through association with other Mahatmas, pure devotees. Pure devotees are not even attracted by Krishna's other features, such as the four-armed Mahavishnu. They are simply attracted by the two-armed form of Krishna. They are not attracted to other features of Krishna, nor are they concerned with any other form of demigod or of a human being. They meditate only upon Krishna in Krishna consciousness. They are always engaged in the unswerving service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness. I've never seen that word before.
Swerving, like on the road, it's normally used when you're driving. Swerving means you're like going to the side, dodging. You're dodging, say a dog runs on the road, so you'll swerve. You'll go around the dog. So swerving means like going around, not straight. So unswerving service means just direct, just straight.
That's no detour.
No detours, no diversion. Oh, I'll just serve Shiva for a little bit. I'll just serve Ganesh for a little bit. I'll just serve, the politician for a little bit. I'll, do this and that. So you're not diverted. I'll just do a bit of welfare work for a little while, humanitarian work, blah, blah, blah. So it's just very direct. You're just always focused on pleasing Krishna and serving Krishna. Interestingly mentioned that how do you become a Mahatma? So we know who is a Mahatma, that they've surrendered to Krishna. But then how does someone become a Mahatma? And that's through associating with those that are already Mahatmas. So if you're not fully devoted to serving Krishna and then you associate with those that are, then there's a good chance that you will become like that. And that's exactly what happened with Prahlad Maharaj. How did Prahlad Maharaj become such a great soul, a Mahatma? He associated when he was very young, when he was a 5-year-old child, his mother was doing some service for some Mahatmas. They were actually the 4 Kumaras, had been staying in one place during the rainy season called Chatumasya, and his mother was serving them. And during that time, as a 5-year-old, he got to hear them talking about Krishna, and he asked, can I have your food remnants, your food leftovers? And they said yes. So as a child, he was eating their Mahaprasadam, their remnants of their food.
Same as Narad Muni as well. Narada Muni. His mom was serving the saintly people, and then he was eating. He had leftover.
I made a mistake saying Prahlad. It was actually Narada.
Narada Muni, eating the leftover from there.
That was Narada Muni in his previous life. So in his previous life, he was a son of a maidservant. And then after that time, she actually got bitten and she died. And then he was all alone. But he didn't become scared or anything. He received all that pure knowledge from the Mahatmas. So he finished off his life, Krishna consciousness. And then when he died, then his body, his material body, transformed into a spiritual body. At the time of death, his body transformed into a spiritual body. It's mentioned just like thunder and lightning. It just happens like simultaneously, isn't it? You get that flash and the bang. Can you work out is there a gap between the flash and the bang? No, it's like kaboom. It's just like simultaneous. His body changed from being material to spiritual, just like that thunder and lightning. And then when Brahma was born and the universe, a new universe started with a new Brahma, then he came out as Narada Muni in his spiritual body. With the beginning of a universe, he came out from Lord Brahma. One day Lord Brahma was in a very contemplative mood, and then Narada Muni appeared like that. And in his previous life, he'd been that little child. That just through the associating with Mahatmas, having their food remnants and hearing from them, then he became a Mahatma, Narada Muni, like that. So yeah, that's the process. And we've seen that, you know, Prabhupada definitely fulfills the criteria of being a Mahatma, you know, fully surrendered to Krishna, fully engaged in devotional service, unswerving devotional service. And we've seen how many souls, they were probably Duratmas, you know, not very good situation, but through Prabhupada, associating with Prabhupada, they became Mahatmas, fully engaged in devotional service. And now, you know, we're trying to associate with those persons that became Mahatmas through Prabhupada's association. And slowly we can also become Mahatmas. That's the idea. And then when we become a Mahatmas, then others can associate with us, and then they will become Mahatmas. And that's everyone's supposed to be a Mahatma. Not only, you know, that Narada Muni is a Mahatma, Prabhupada's a Mahatma, but that we should all become Mahatmas. And that's through associating with Mahatmas, and then help other people to become Mahatmas like that. That's our responsibility. By Lord Chaitanya, he ordered everyone to become a guru. He said, you should learn the science of Krishna and then become a guru and deliver everyone in the land. So that's the responsibility that Lord Chaitanya has given us. You know, guru means Mahatma. So and Lord Chaitanya said, I want everyone to become a guru. First of all, make your own life perfect by learning the science of Krishna, and then help others to make their life perfect, like that. Raman, what is that verse? From Bengali for that verse. But yeah, he gave the order. Amar Agnaya Guru Hana Tare Desh. Yeah. Yare Deka Tare Kaha Krishna Upadesh. Amar Agnaya Guru Hana Tare Desh. So he said, wherever you go, whoever you meet, just instruct them in Krishna's teachings of Bhagavad Gita. In this way, you become a guru and deliver everyone in the land. Yare Deka means who you see. Tare Kaha. You know, wherever you go. Yare Deka, Tare Kaha. Krishna Upadesh means Krishna's instructions. Krishna's instructions are in this book that we're reading, the Bhagavad Gita. So you learn Krishna's instructions. And then Amara Agnaya Guru. And on my order, I'm giving you this order. Amara Agnaya Guru, you become a guru. Tara, what is that? Amara Agnaya Guru, Hana Tara Edesha. So you spread Krishna consciousness to everyone in the land. Desha means the place. So you go to all the places. At least sometimes I would say travel all over the world, and sometimes even in your own country, and sometimes even like in your own village, your own town. So like you might become a guru for Newcastle, or someone becomes a guru of Hunter Valley, you know, and you travel all around Hunter Valley or Newcastle. Someone might travel all around Australia, or someone might travel all around the whole world. But the point is, you know, in some area, then you become a guru for that area. And it's not hard. You don't need to be able to levitate or have wings or fly or anything, have mystical power. You just have to repeat Krishna's instructions. That's the qualification to become a guru, that you just repeat Krishna's instructions. If you concoct your own foolish ideas in your fertile brain, then you know you're disqualified. You're not a guru. But if you repeat Krishna's instructions, and Lord Chaitanya is ordering us to do this, that's our responsibility he's giving us. He's authorizing.
Every country and town.
Yeah, the world needs this. This is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Prabhupada's guru, said, there's only one thing lacking in the material world. Everything is more than sufficient except for one thing, and that's Krishna consciousness. There's a lack of Krishna consciousness. So everything else is heaps. There's heaps of food, heaps of money, heaps of everything, resources, energies, everything like that. Everything is there. Food is there, shelter is there, companions are there, protection is there, but there's not enough Krishna consciousness. So that therefore requires gurus to know this knowledge and spread it. That's what's required, and it doesn't have to be an official, institutional, bureaucratic thing. But just that you learn the knowledge and you teach it. You don't need to be stamped and everything to become a guru. Just act in a proper way as a guru. Even if you don't, have all the bells and whistles and everything like that. But it doesn't stop you from just immediately teaching. No. And even you might not know everything, but the point is, whatever you've heard from Krishna or the spiritual master, and whatever you've understood from the spiritual master and Krishna, then just teach that to others. If you have a lot of faith in prasadam and you know about prasadam, then teach about that. You don't have to teach about things that you don't know about. Don't do that. Don't go over your head, isn't it? We have that term in terms of like going in the ocean. Don't go over your head. If you don't know how to swim, you don't want to go. So you just go up to where you're comfortable with, your waist, your neck, like that. So don't go beyond what you know. Just whatever you know. If you have faith that the Hare Krishna Maha mantra is going to make you peaceful and happy, if you've had that experience by doing it, then just teach that the Hare Krishna mantra is brilliant. It takes away all your anxiety and stress and it makes you happy and peaceful. Then teach that. And if you know about the gopis and Rasa Leela and everything, okay, teach that. But, don't talk about that if you don't know about it and disturb people and everything. So just teach as much as you know, but don't go over your head like that. And you can start acting like Gulshan was talking with those guys, his workmates, about Krishna. So that's good. He's acting as a guru for them. He's actually initiated them. Started them off. I mean, when he drives his Uber and they ask about the seeker and everything, and he talks about Krishna or Jagannath, so he's acting in that way as a guru. So that's very nice.
I offer them to only one thing. Whenever you feel a bit tired or lazy not to cook, just to come to Bhakti Tree. Has very good meal, fresh. So first they have in a prasadam, and then they see Jagannath, then they see Bhagavad Gita or other Prabhupada books when they come to eat in Bhakti Tree, and then it'll be spread a little bit by, rather than in a car. If I'm trying to preaching that, it's just like a little bit too much. I said, any day you don't feel like to cook or get tired, just come to Bhakti Tree, $10-15, very cheap, fresh food. Every doctor saying eat more vegetable. That's what we sell, vegetable.
Yeah.
So you can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that. And when they come there, then look at Jagannath, then they look at the Prabhupada books, then it'll be spread a little bit. And then third, fourth visit, maybe they picked up the Bhagavad Gita. I said, wow, that's a job done. And then eventually, slowly, some people took into temple as well. They come to Bhakti Tree, they become my Uber customer, and eventually they end with the temple. So that's good. But then my job's finished, then rest is other association and read the Bhagavad Gita and books and all that.
Yeah.
Things.
Well, we should all be doing, whatever we've learned in Krishna consciousness, try to spread it to others.
Yeah, that's the best way. Spread.
Only thing you have to be careful with, and this is what happens when you make it too institutionalized and too fancy, is you get an inflated head. So we don't want to get an inflated head. So we want to stay humble. Just because you're acting as a guru and you're teaching, just because you're a teacher doesn't mean you're the best thing since sliced bread or something. It's nothing extraordinary. You're not an angel or something. Yeah, you just teach. So why do you have to get proud about being a teacher? So what you've learned, from your gurus, then just teach that to others and just remain humble, and not get carried away by that. And that's a good organic way of doing it, I think, rather than trying to do everything just officially and you become an initiating guru and everything. So it's not just about initiating guru, but the main thing is shiksha guru, giving instructions. This is so important. Giving this more important than diksha guru, which means
there's one house I stayed in the Melbourne. I said that, you know, they're eating onion garlic. And I said, you know what, I'll prefer without onion garlic. And they understand that things there. They said, yeah, I understand that. Because what we do that when we cook the meal, we offer to Krishna first, then we put the onion garlic after. And I said, okay. I said, he said, because Krishna, we can't offer him onion garlic. So one plate for the Krishna, and the rest of the pot, they put the onion garlic. And then after that, the plate comes there. I said, can I have that some prasadam for the plate from there you offer to Krishna? And then I'll have without onion garlic. I said, okay. And the rest, they put the onion garlic with, according to their taste. And then I said, okay, that's fine. And then one man in there, he was a bit demoniac. He was arguing and things like that. He was a very good friend of mine. I said, look, you know what? I got benefit out of it. I'm your friend. That's why I'm just telling you. And I know you for a long time. So I got benefit. So I prefer you to get benefit too. That's why it's not like, you know, I've got no other reason, like, you know, you're going to give your property to me or something like that. No, because I got benefit for, and you got the, you know, same for that. So it's good that. And then they were thinking, okay. So I just planted the seed. I stayed there for the weekend. Then I went to another family because they're visiting someone else. The Christmas, I had a few days off. So I went there and they were saying the same thing. Oh, it's a Vaishnav devotees here. And I said, well, look, I'm just a common man. I'm not Vaishnav devotee, but I prefer that if you know, onion, garlic, things like that. I said, yeah, we can put they don't offer it, but they cook that and the little taken out and then they put onion, garlic. And from that plate, I just offer it and eat it. So, means they were thinking, and, you know, and then sometimes they're talking as well. Okay, what is it? So I just tell whatever I know learn from you or Bhagavad Gita or from other association. I just spread. And then I said, look, there's a temple there. This is. Okay. So eventually, later on, they will definitely go to a temple. They say, yeah, some person came from Sydney. He was saying something like that. Some stage, in the mercy of Krishna, it will happen. But anyway, like I didn't.
When you do what Lord Chaitanya wants, which is that we should all act as a guru and teach people Krishna's instructions, then you get the mercy. If you get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya by helping other people, exactly what Lord Chaitanya, what he did himself, was always trying to help other people. And Lord Chaitanya's, but he's acting as a devotee. So acting as a devotee, he's always trying to help other people become Krishna conscious. And if you take up his mission to help other people become Krishna conscious, then you'll get his full blessings, his full mission. Then your own Krishna consciousness will accelerate like anything the more you try to help other people connect them. So you're actually doing the...
I've got benefit out of that. Why not you?
I'm sorry, I need to go. But thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
It's important.